Okay, so Henry Cavill. I like Henry Cavill. Do you guys like Henry Cavill in chat? Let me know. You like Henry Cavill? It's either yes or no, and we're going to ban everybody that says no. Now, recently, one of these scooper accounts talked about how Henry Cavill was going to be Doctor Doom in the MCU. And I actually got tagged in something about this like a week ago. Actually, Rob and myself both got tagged in a post talking about how Henry Cavill is going to be Doctor Doom. And I said in the post, I was like, look, I would love this, but I haven't heard this from anybody that's reliable. I don't think he's going to be Doctor Doom. Okay. And then randomly late last week, My Time to Shine Hello retweets the thing about Doom and says he's not playing Doctor Doom, but he did accept a role in the MCU. Who do you think it will be? Okay, so that's kind of what made this whole story, made this whole thing kind of blow up, right? And I want to start with the most important shit right away, and that is this better not interfere with the Warhammer cinematic universe. I know you're thinking the same thing. I know I'm thinking the same thing. Don't get me wrong. We all love Marvel, but Warhammer is where it's at. The Warhammer cinematic universe is the future of entertainment. We're pivoting the entire channel. It's all about Warhammer. The Warhammer cinematic universe is going to be the best cinematic universe that has ever happened and came before, and I can't wait for it. So this better not, Kevin, listen to me. This better not mess with the Warhammer cinematic universe. Holy shit. Okay, so that's number one. Let's get that out of the way. Second thing, super duper important. We got to talk about it right away. Is this a sign, chat, that White Suge Knight is back? Is this a sign that Kevin Feige is back to his gangster ways and that recruiting Henry Cavill into the MCU is a little bit of a side shot at James Gunn's DCU? What do you think? What do you think? Because, oh man, I'd love to believe that it is. I'd love to believe that it is. James Gunn came in, had this generation's Superman, person that a lot of fans really liked as Superman. James Gunn does not like Henry Cavill. There was this YouTuber who tried to make that point about a week before James fired Henry Cavill. I don't remember the name of that person, but the point was made. James Gunn doesn't like Henry Cavill. And so he replaced this generation's Superman with someone who looks exactly like this generation's Superman. And make no mistake about it, there is a fissure, a division within the fandom about that decision. And so by Kevin Feige grabbing up this generation's Superman, who was unceremoniously cast aside by James Gunn, and putting him in a high-profile position at Marvel, that feels like a little bit of a jab, and I'm fucking here for it. I love it, okay? Now, what would be even better? I'm glad you asked. What if it wasn't just Henry Cavill? What if it was Gal Gadot? What if it was Ben Affleck? I mean, we're not going to talk about Flash. Let's just leave that there. But what if it was Ray Fisher? What if it was the entire Justice League? Yeah, Trev knows where I'm going with it. Squadron Supreme. I think that would be the ultimate gangster move, the ultimate have fun dealing with this one. And that would be to bring Henry Cavill over as Hyperion to just basically make the Squadron. So the Squadron Supreme is essentially the Justice League in Marvel Comics. And there actually was, or I guess were rumors for Loki season 2 that the Squadron Supreme was going to show up. Right? So I just got to say the ultimate gangster move, the ultimate White Suge Knight move would be to assemble the Squadron Supreme and to have this generation Superman playing Superman over at Marvel Studios. However, I don't actually think that's what's going on. That would be sick, especially if you brought over Zack Snyder to maybe direct a Squadron Supreme special and or movie. I mean, come on, man. Like, we can dream, right? We can dream a little bit, right? Squadron Supreme, directed by Snyder with his Justice League. I mean, come on, man. You can't make a better story than that. Oh my God. That would be absolutely amazing, right? Some of you guys are like, no! Look, I know. I watched Rebel Moon. God damn it. Zach, you really hung me out to dry on that one. Okay, moving on. I don't think that's what's happening. Okay, I don't think that's what's happening. So the question is then, well, who's it going to be? Well, I think Doctor Doom would be excellent, but again, the context of this even being news is my time to shine hello saying he's not Doom, but he did accept the role, okay? So now we got to go through some of the roles that he could play and kind of talk about the possibilities behind that. I think the first option for me, and I think this, to me, this is the one that I think it is. I still think it's this one, although I'm not sure, of course. I think he's going to be Captain Britain. I think he's going to be Captain Britain. Also, Captain Britain and the Captain Britain Corps does have multiversal implications. There is actually a Captain Britain in every single universe within the multiverse. And so there's a multiversal element to Braddock as well, which could be fascinating to see potentially set up in either Deadpool 3 or in other multiversal things. Even the Fantastic Four, like technically speaking, even the Fantastic Four could interact with the Captain Britain Corps, with the multiversal ideas, and that would be really interesting. I think that would be awesome because Captain Britain is a really cool character. I really like that mythos. Also, Captain Britain is fascinating in Jonathan Hickman's Secret Wars and Braddock and all of those people and the dukes and the duchesses and how that's all set up in Hickman's Secret Wars was fascinating, and I felt like the Braddocks were very useful in that, right? So that would be kind of lit, that would be kind of cool, but I'm not sure that that's what they're doing. I mean, what do you think? Because like on the one hand, that's really cool, but I can see some of you guys in chat being like, dude, I don't know, Captain Britain. I mean, first of all, like it's the Brits, and trust me, I get it. We try not to hold it against Henry. Wasn't his choice, and I get it. Also, like pretty obscure character. Sentry, highly doubt that. I mean, they cast Billy Bob Bobface for that, right? So that guy's gonna be Sentry. So I don't think it's that. What do you guys think about Captain Britain? Yeah, like maybe not good enough, maybe not good enough. It's not Sentry, but Hyperion could be interesting. The problem with Hyperion, I think, is like all of a sudden you've got multiple Superman kind of heroes. And so you've got Sentry, depending on how that movie ends, Sentry's going to stick around. And then to just have Hyperion as well, it's like, I don't know, man. Like it feels like that's a little too much going on. Like they probably should have just got him as Sentry if that's the way they were going to go with it. I feel like that would be better, right? So that's a potential here. Here's one that's really interesting. What do you think of Henry Cavill as Wolverine? What do you think of Henry Cavill as Wolverine? I gotta say, I love it. I love Henry Cavill as Wolverine. And I think somebody was trolling in chat where they said he's too short, and that just, triggers the fuck out of me and probably a lot of comic book fans because Wolverine is short. In comics, he's short. He's literally like a little monster looking dude. You know what I mean? Like Danny DeVito is closer to the actual size of Wolverine than Hugh Jackman is. Like, just to put it that way. So that could be sick. By the way, there are actually old rumors that Henry Cavill is going to be Wolverine in the MCU. And strangely enough, those rumors date back to a time period when Feige was meeting with people like Sir Patrick Stewart and Hugh Jackman. Around 2019, 2018, 2020. So I personally could see it. I could see him as Wolverine. And it would be fascinating to introduce him as Wolverine in Deadpool 3. Don't think that's what's going to happen, but it could be. What about this one, guys? Let me ask you how you feel about this one. What about Silver Surfer? What do you think of Henry Cavill potentially being the Silver Surfer? He's 6'1"? Wow. Well, his build just, I don't know. Well, maybe it's because he's next to Affleck. And isn't Affleck like 6'4", 6'5"? Nope, not Silver Surfer. Yeah, I think he's a little too... I don't think he has the build for Silver Surfer. I think you want somebody a little bit thin, more, lanky almost. I feel like that's Silver Surfer. I don't think he would be a good Silver Surfer. I do think he could be like Blastar or Terrax. Those are heralds of Galactus that I could see Henry Cavill playing. I see this in chat. I had it written down as well. I think it could actually be good. What do you think about Henry Cavill as Cyclops, dude? Yeah, what do you think of Henry Cavill as Cyclops? Because I actually love Henry Cavill as Cyclops, dude. He'd be a good Cyclops. I mean, he'd be pretty jacked, right? But I mean, Scott's pretty jacked. So I could see him as Cyclops, and I think that would be really cool. Here, let me throw another one at you. And I think this one would be really cool. What do you think of Henry Cavill as Mr. Sinister? Henry Cavill, Mr. Sinister. I think he could do it, man. I think he's got the face for Mr. Sinister. Yeah, dude. I would really like him as Mr. Sinister. I think that would be sick, dude. Throw another one at you. Just popped into my head. What do you think about Henry Cavill as the Maker? Evil Reed Richards. I think he'd be a good Maker, dude. Yeah. Too built? Yeah, I mean, a little bit. Maybe. I can just imagine the bottom of his face with like that smirk, with that silly big kind of helmet thing that the Maker wears. It'd be kind of cool. Molecule Man. I'd see him more as the Beyonder than the Molecule Man, to be honest with you. I think he could be Beyonder for sure. Yeah, I don't know. A lot of good options here, man. A lot of good options. I mean, for me, like, you know, all jokes aside, it's super cool that he's in the MCU. I'm dying to know what role. I think it would have to be pretty high profile, you know? Like, I think Cavill still has that cachet, you know? I mean, what do you guys think? I think it would have to be high profile. That's my feelings on it. I don't think he's going to go from being Superman to coming in and being like any rinky-dink thing, although I guess that could make sense with like the Warhammer stuff, because the Warhammer stuff is going to take a lot of involvement. I'm also like, dude, I'm kind of pumped that if he really is going to be in the Marvel machine, he'll be able to have a pretty good look at how that all operates and maybe steal some good ideas from Feige, maybe even steal some employees from Feige, and again, make that Warhammer Cinematic Universe truly great. So that's fascinating as well. But I love Cavill, man. I'm excited for him to join Marvel. And also, I want White Suge Knight back, man. I want the Feige that was like, oh, you're doing Batman v Superman? Well, guess what? Now we're going to do Civil War and we're going to release it before you. I want that Kevin Feige back. Like where he's killing it. He's on his bullshit and he's just like doing these real gangster moves behind the scenes while he plays nice to the cameras. I want that Kevin Feige back. So I don't know. For me, there's a lot of different elements of this story that like are working for me. So I'm excited. Henry Cavill's in the MCU. We don't know who he is going to play, and I assume we'll get more information on that really, really soon. Let's go.